All right, everyone. I'm just going to hold it. All right. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed your welcome from Sam and Renee at the doors, and we can now kick it off with our opening prayer read by the lovely Anisha, wherever you are. There she is. Okay.
Dear Lord, little things have given us life, opened our eyes, lifted our hearts, and made us fall in love with the universe. May we remember to have enough time to just stop and stare and find out how beautiful this gift of life is. May we listen to our voices and may we have the courage to be ourselves. Amen.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Anisha. That was beautiful. Catherine is on Zoom this evening, but I will hand it on over to her to do a quick roll call.
Hi, everyone. Okay, Dan Bowden, do you still?
And if you folks could just project as much as you can too, that would be super helpful for Catherine. Love it, Dan.
He's here.
Oh, he's here. Okay, thank you. Isabella Garcia.
Not here.
Okay. Daniel Schermerhorn.
Proxy.
Okay, perfect. Sarah Kirsch.
Here.
Will Forson.
Here.
Bridget Arbuckle.
Proxy.
Dan Law.
Here.
Anoop Sunkara.
Here.
Michael Murakami.
Here.
Jordan Leiden.
Here.
Niels Casperson.
He's
Running late.
Okay. Maggie Allen.
Here.
Peyton Mueller. Eliza Smith.
Here.
Henry Jackson.
Here.
Ben Earhart.
Present.
Jason Thomas.
Here.
Natalie Ortega.
Here.
Molly Schrock.
Here.
Lainey Teeters.
Here.
Ahmed El Hassani.
Is that a here? Here.
Alec Brayler.
Here.
Bianca Burnett.
Here.
Carson Thompson.
Here.
Libby Messman. Anisha Japira.
Here.
Michael Lynch.
Here.
Miles Kelly.
Here.
Alex Koblowski.
Here.
Patrick Lee.
Here.
Grace Franco.
Here.
Teresa Salazar.
Here.
Henry Bates.
Here.
Blake Johnson.
Here.
Johnny O'Meara.
Here.
Renee Pearson.
Here.
Jordan Thuralt.
Here.
Sam Canova.
He's here.
Ricardo Poses Garza.
He says hello.
Hi, Ricardo. Connor Delaney.
Here.
Rachel Engel.
Here.
Madison Nemeth.
Here.
Aaron Benavides.
Here. Here.
Minu. Selvin.
Not here.
Okay. Murray Pfaff. Here. Julia Dilhoff or Kurt Golden.
He's here.
Thomas Davis.
Here.
Estefan Linares.
Here.
Karen Kennedy.
Here.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron, for your help.
All right. Thanks for that tag team effort, Catherine and Aaron. And Catherine, will you keep us rolling with quick recap of last week's meeting?
Yes, so last week we had a presentation from Ricardo on winter reallocations and spring allocations, and then SO 2021-23 in order to amend the constitution of the undergraduate student body to establish the Nancy J. Walsh Irish Clover Award was passed, and Nancy joined us, which was awesome. SS 2021-30, a resolution addressing consistency in the dining hall accommodations for students with severe allergies was passed. And SS 2021-32, a resolution requesting the reinstallation of the basketball rims to the bookstore basketball courts was passed.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Catherine. I will open the floor to any questions, comments, or concerns about last week's minutes. Anyone? All right, seeing none, minutes are approved. We can move into our executive announcements for the week. So I will kick us off with our first student advisory group update. This past Monday, our 4 big topics were vaccination, commencement, ZOM, and the housing policy. I'm sure you all heard last night the very exciting news from Governor Holcomb opening vaccination up in Indiana to all over the age of 16 come March 31st. Really exciting development. There's no word about our own closed pod application here at Notre Dame. There's growing optimism that we might be able to vaccinate students at the end of the semester, but the 2 things that are needed are 1, state approval, and 2, adequate supply of the J&J vaccine. But you all will qualify come March 31st, so the institution very much encourages you to get vaccinated when you are eligible to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. Moving on to commencement, I'm very much holding out hope for guests at commencement, as well as a unique opportunity for seniors to personally receive a degree in some modified way, but a personal celebration, walking across some stage somewhere. There will also be college by college opportunities. Probably won't gather as a graduating class multiple times, meaning that the mass and commencement ceremony will likely be condensed. Would hope to have this announcement out by the end of the month, fingers crossed for a Friday announcement. There will definitely be a strong bias towards doing things outside to keep people as safe as possible. And just trying to be as inclusive as possible as news across the country does become more encouraging. And a live stream is a given no matter what, so that family members back home can also tune in and be a part of the special moment here on campus. In regards to ZOM, the Division of Student Affairs is personally responding to every phone call and email. There is nothing that is automated, really trying to understand everyone's concerns on a personal level. Father Bill has been reaching out to the first years to give them personalized attention, and they have been granted more time to express a preference for residence halls. And prospective RAs are being strongly considered in other communities right now as well. And then finally, the housing policy will indeed be reinstated in the fall. And I believe you all have received information about that exemption process as well. All right, so that's all we have from the student advisory group. Very exciting that our next meeting, Rachel, Aaron, and I will all be in attendance, as will Alan, Matthew, and Alix. So we'll begin our transition in that group the next time as well. And I can hand it over to either Rachel or Aaron to provide us updates regarding the CLC meeting, which occurred just this morning.
Yeah, so today the CLC met primarily to discuss SS 2021-27 and SS 2021-29, since those resolutions were passed and directed towards the Division of Student Affairs. After a lot of deliberation, the CLC decided to table both resolutions, and we are forming a working group to adapt those resolutions, strengthen them, make them more direct and focused. That way we can get the most concrete possible response from Aaron Hoffman Harding. It is our hope that those 2 resolutions will kind of come together to form the CLC's ultimate recommendation over. Our timeline for that is we'll be meeting sometime with the working group next week, and the CLC will reconvene in 2 weeks, the week after Easter Sunday. And we're hoping to set more of a standing meeting basis, probably every other week, possibly every week, for the remainder of our term on the CLC, which lasts through commencement. But yeah, that is the status of CLC, and we'll definitely have more updates for you come 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Erin. I will now share two events that we're very excited about in the coming days. First, tomorrow we'll be having a multicultural food truck fair that student government is sponsoring at both North Quad and South Quad. Yet to decide which truck will be where, so stay tuned. But we will have cupcakes from a Black-owned bakery. We will have some authentic Mexican tacos as well as Yum Dum dumplings. So really looking forward to that. Hope to see you all from 5 to 8 tomorrow evening, but I would advise coming early because they are all very exciting treats. And then on Sunday afternoon, Rachel and I will host our final Women's Leadership Forum of the year, featuring the one and only Karen Kennedy. So we're really looking forward to it, to learn a little bit more about Karen's leadership trajectory and journey, and have a roundtable discussion with her. So really looking forward to that as well. And then finally, one action item on all of your parts. This is a plug from Kurt Golden. We have Hall of the Year presentations this weekend. Super exciting to be able to confer a dome dance on some lucky hall. I see maybe about half of you have been amazing and already signed up for 2 slots there. We do need to have 2 senators at every hall's presentation. So you are strongly encouraged to sign up. Again, anything that works with your schedule, anything that is of course not your own hall, but if everyone signs up for 2 presentations, we should be set. Kurt, do you have anything to add to that? You can do it with a friend. It can be fun. Beautiful. Did that answer your question, Ben? Okay, yes, once Kurt gets me that info, I will blast it out to the Senate listserv so you know where you're going. Oh, and I see someone filling it out right now. Incredible. Really appreciate it, guys. Okay, those are all of the, oh, Erin is amming. Okay, go for it.
I will just say we do have a considerable amount of people on Zoom today, including our secretary. So please, please, please come to the floor to speak for pretty much everything, just so that we can get the best record possible of everything. And also, this is really good practice for the remainder of the term, just so that everybody on the live stream and on Zoom can fully participate, be fully aware of what's going on. Thank you.
We can definitely do that fun mic passing game that we did a few meetings ago as well. I do see Lainey. If it's a question, you can just project. There was no update on that policy besides the fact that the housing policy is going back into place next year, if that is what you are referring to. But that is definitely a dialogue that could be picked up in the CLC or with a resolution in these following next 2 weeks. But given that we hope COVID is trending in a positive direction come fall, that will be reinstated. Okay. All right. Well, if there aren't any further questions on that point, we can transition to SS 2021-2033, which is a resolution requesting a formal statement to all university teaching staff regarding mini break classwork. And I can invite Maggie, Michael, Maggie and Michael, whatever you would like, to come on down and present.
Hi, so this is just a resolution, like Sarah said, requesting a formal statement to all university teaching staff regarding mini break classwork. I was approached by a few girls in my residence hall, including my RA, just talking that they had a lot of classwork, including exams, quizzes. One girl's professor tried to host a half class on the day of the mini break, so I just thought it was something that really needed to be formally addressed. So the Provost Miranda had said, kind of on the record, but not in a formal statement, that she wanted this to be a day, you know, 0 classes, and there shouldn't be exams or large assessments after the day. However, that was never put out in a formal statement. So this is asking for a statement from the provost saying that there can't be any exams, any quizzes, or any large assignments due the day after these mini breaks, as we have, I mean, Good Friday's after a weekend, but we do have one more. So that does serve as an important break for all. And further resolved to just ask that students be copied into this message. That way we're all aware of the same expectations. So pretty short and sweet.
Fabulous, really productive and targeted resolution, Maggie and Michael. We will now open it up for any questions that you guys may have. Yeah, Michael. All right, we can vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? Wonderful. Okay, we've now entered debate and anyone is free to raise a point of debate. Once again, Michael. Okay, let's vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? And just like that, we have entered a formal vote on SS 2021-33. And I will once again ask, all in favor? And all opposed? Okay, wonderful. I think this will be very productive and hopefully make April 21st a more relaxing and rejuvenating day for all. Thank you guys so much for this resolution. Oh, thanks, Maggie. Wonderful. Okay, without further ado, we can move on to SS 2021-34, which is a resolution encouraging the adaptation of the Moreau First Year Experience course to tell a fuller and more inclusive version of the history of the University of Notre Dame. I'd love to invite Kaya Lawrence, our Director of Diversity and Inclusion, to the floor to present this resolution. And she also has 2 co-authors who are joining us today over Zoom.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kaya, Director of Diversity and Inclusion, like Sarah just mentioned. This is a pretty long resolution, so I won't read it in full. I'm actually going to, if possible, turn it over to either Lauren or Jules, who are 2 students here who have put in a lot of work on this project and had a lot of the conversations and really spearheaded this. So if they're interested, I'd like to see if they want to kind of introduce the resolution and the work that they've been doing.
Sure, no, you can totally yield your time, Kaya. We'll move them over to the screen so that we can see their lovely faces as well.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us in the Senate today. So Jules and I are coming in to propose a Senate resolution to modify the Moreau first year curriculum to better include Native voices in history and culture in the curriculum. And this was born of a project that I started with another student who has since graduated this past semester. And after becoming more aware of Notre Dame's history with Native people, specifically the Pokagon Band of the Potawatomi, in some of our other classes, we realized that we had not been told the full version of Notre Dame's history in our Moreau first year experience course. And so since then, I've been working with Jules to kind of move the project along. We've been able to speak with Lauren Donahue and Andrew Whittington of the Moreau First Year Experience Curriculum, who have been willing to work with us in this. And we're hoping to move forward with this and get your support on this as well. We hope to be able to draft resources that are incorporating Native voices and faculty from the University of Notre Dame who are knowledgeable in this area, and just otherwise promote critical thinking and more inclusive campus environments for students on campus through the Moreau First Year Experience curriculum. And Jules, do you have anything you want to add?
Sure. Hi, folks. I'm Jules Downing. I'm a junior. I'm on the Moreau Student Advisory Council. So I am really here because I'm very passionate about Moreau. And what I love about Moreau is that it is an ever evolving course and program. And, you know, the point of that is that the different iterations allow us to improve what we're teaching and really use this singular opportunity to reach every student, right? This is the only graded course that reaches every Notre Dame student. So we're trying to harness the power of that course and tell a very honest and inclusive history of our campus. And we encourage you to very strongly consider this. Thank you so much for having us here.
Amazing. Would you like to add anything, Kai, or just open the floor for questions?
Yeah, I guess like, so, I mean, y'all are all senators who I would just, for most of you, were here also back April at the very beginning of the term where we introduced a similar resolution. Since that one did not pass narrowly, we put in a lot of extra work and had a lot of the more conversations, I would say, with the people involved in the program. And this is really just asking for your support in calling for, I guess, like the university to really just educate our first year students on the Notre Dame's history with Native people, because that's kind of really missing from the Moreau FYE curriculum. So that's all I really have. So I think we can open it up.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just add one last remark, taking off my legislative hat and putting on my executive hat, that Rachel, Aaron, and I co-sponsored this resolution in the spring. This was a part of our initial platform. This resolution has only been strengthened since then by serious student work, and we continue to give it our wholehearted support as well in this second iteration. So yes, with that, I will now open it for any questions that you may have for Kaya or for the two primary authors. Yes, Eliza, and you can project, come on down. We just do have the two on Zoom. All right, easy enough. We can all vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? Okay, we have now entered debate. Would anyone like to raise a point of debate? Once again, Eliza. Okay, we can vote on that as well. All in favor? And all opposed? Wonderful. We have now entered into our official vote on SS 2021-34. And finally, I will once again ask, all in favor? All right, all opposed? Any abstentions? All right, fabulous. Well, thank you so much for all of your hard work, both Lauren and Jules. This resolution passes, and we hope it'll just give it even more added weight to be incorporated into the next iteration of Moreau. We really appreciate your work, and Kaya, your sponsorship of it within student government.
Thank y'all.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us, Lauren and Jules.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, folks, we are moving right along, and we can move on to SO 2021-24, which is an order to suspend class council and hall elections. And I believe just a few moments ago, Thomas Davis added a few friendly amendments to that SO. Oh, okay. Yes, you get your own lapel mic. Put it on.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Awesome. So two things. First one, I'm obviously not going to read these all. The one thing I do ask that you do, please find your hall. And if you see your hall listed in here, just make sure that that's correct. It should be, but we've had some changes and those friendly amendments are also down there at the bottom. But essentially what this does, I'll just read the first statement. It says, whereas Article 15, Section 1N of the Constitution prescribes that in cases of election where there is one candidate or ticket running unopposed, the Judicial Council may recommend that the Student Senate suspend the election and the candidate or ticket shall be declared the winner. So we've done this various times throughout this term. This is no different, except there's just lots of them today. All these are pertaining to residence halls and class councils. Some of your residence halls opt out of Judicial Council's election procedure. So if you're one of those halls, you won't see anything on here. You just send us the names. So if you're left out, there's for a reason. Any questions? Could you speak up? Sorry. So the hall election coordinator, they cannot. Remind me of your hall. I believe McGlynn opts out. That might be why. So may I speak with you after class? Thank you. Last year they did. And given that Matthew Bisner resides in Balmer Hall, I'm guessing that they did.
While Thomas is looking for that, you know what? I should just. Goodness gracious. I would just like to say it was so exciting to see so many senators running for different positions within your hall. So I'm sure many of you are running in elections right now and not just the ones listed here, but it was very exciting to see some of you becoming vice presidents, presidents of your hall. And I know you guys have learned lots of great lessons here and will only be great leaders for your residence hall communities. So I felt like a proud mom. So great job, guys. Incredible. And I'll hand it back over to Thomas.
So these are great questions because this makes sure that the process is working. Balmer does opt out, but McGlynn opts in. So I'll definitely need to see you.
Ben.
Sorry, Ben, what are the names?
She located Thomas.
Bing, bing, bing. I should play some elevator music.
Yeah, that is your prerogative, my friend.
Maybe one of the big booty mixes.
So while I'm looking this up, one suggestion you may want to give to your incoming senators is the hall election process and the Constitution really stinks. This has been super stressful, so I would really definitely suggest that you talk to them about making amendments in terms of either just putting hall elections in halls or some sort of unified process, because as you can see, there's a lot going on here and we shouldn't be making mistakes.
We can all thank Thomas and David for their continued work on this. As you guys can see, this is a 4-page document and a lot of moving parts. So much appreciated. Oh yeah, Ricardo. Sure, yeah, let's check in with Thomas. Thomas, would that work best for you? He gives me a thumbs up. Michael. Fabulous. Okay, vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? Okay, we will return to this at the end of the meeting. While we get some more friendly amendments in action. Thanks for that gray eye on Amanda Ben. And we'll just clean this up a little bit, and I'm sure it will pass with flying colors at the end. All right.
They didn't want my music.
Yes, Aaron is disgruntled that you did not want his elevator music, but that's all right. Great idea, Ricardo. And we can move on to SS 2021-35, which is a resolution requesting the integration of Notre Dame ID card into smartphone wallet applications. And very pleased to welcome Mike Prieto, who is our Director of Campus Tech and Innovation. Yeah, just read it out, it's short enough.
Or summarize.
It's short enough.
Okay, hello everyone. As Sarah mentioned, I am Mike Prieto, the Director of Campus Tech and Innovation. It's not a very long resolution, so I'll just read it. Whereas Apple has enabled the use of contactless student IDs on iPhones and Apple Watches through the Apple Wallet application, and Google has done the same for Android smartphones through the Google Pay application. Whereas this technology has been implemented at over a dozen universities across the United States, including Duke, Georgetown, Johns Hopkins, and Clemson University. Whereas the implementation of the contactless Irish One Card in 2017 put in place the technology that would allow for student IDs to also be available on smartphones through Apple Wallet and Google Pay. Whereas the program director of Irish One Card, Michael Hobestol, sees contactless student IDs on smartphones as a very real possibility and believes that student support would help this come to fruition. Whereas the option for digital student IDs has been called the game changer at universities where it is in place and would help the quality of life for students of Notre Dame. Whereas the campus card office would still continue to provide the option for physical student IDs to any student who would prefer it. Resolved, the Student Senate of the University of Notre Dame Duloc formally requests that the Campus Card Office and Office of Information Technology integrates contactless student ID cards into smartphones using Apple Wallet and Google Play in order to increase the quality of life for students at the University of Notre Dame.
Sweet, love it, Mike. Any questions for Mike about his hard work with the Campus Card Office? Michael. Let's vote on that. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, we can now open the floor for debate. Would anyone like to raise a point of debate? Once again, Michael. Beautiful. Okay, we can vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? Wonderful, and here we have it. We've entered into our formal vote on SS 2021-35. All in favor? And all opposed? Great work on your first resolution, Mike. Actually, Mike's first resolution was adding a, what was it, Mike? A clause, eliminating a clause from the Constitution. A redundant clause as a fueler, so he's 2 for 2. Great work, Mike. All right, we can now welcome to the floor the authors of SS 2021-36, which is a resolution responding to the disbandment of Zom House.
All right. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm Henry Bates. I'm the Zom House Senator. This is a pretty lengthy resolution. I'm gonna read the resolved statements and then just give like a summary of the whereas points. If you want to ask about any of the whereas statements, I would be more than happy to talk about them. Resolved, the Student Senate of the University of Notre Dame Duloc condemns the violation of public due process and dialogue with the greater Zom community in the Division of Student Affairs decision to disband Zom House and encourages both transparency and dialogue in future actions relating to significant changes to residential life and campus policies. Urges that the Department of Residential Life eases the transition for the Zom residents, especially the current first-year class, to their new living communities for the 2021-2022 academic year by increasing the number of students able to move as a group to a new residence hall community, offering mental health resources for Zom residents, I just lost my spot, who may be distressed at this time, and helping facilitate financial relief for Zom juniors who may be at a disadvantage pursuing resident assistant positions for the 2021-2022 academic year in a residence hall they have not yet lived in. And 3, requests that the university leadership accept the invitation for dialogue with Zom community members to help create a more effective action plan for Zom's transition in the coming months. Yeah, so pretty much this resolution is not aimed at reversing the university's decision to disband ZOM. I don't think that is within our grasp. I don't think the university is going to do that. What it does do is goes at the idea that the university can simply strike down a community, act swiftly on a residence hall with no dialogue with that community and no transparency in the process. So I think we can all agree there has been a disconnect between the university and the students here. And I think this is just yet another move of just not taking our input into consideration. So I think it is important that we act on that. Additionally, just in this year of this COVID year that we've all experienced, where interactions between dorms have been, pretty much put to zero. It's been very difficult for students, especially first year students, get to meet new people already. And I think it is a great idea for us to increase the number of students who can move in a group and figure out how we can best keep friend groups together, keep support systems together, to just keep mental health as our number one priority for these students who are pretty much being forced to move into new spots. I put an emphasis on the first year class because they have been the most affected by making friends during this time, and I think it's important that we help them. And then, yeah, finally, just trying to open a dialogue between ZOM and the rest of the university, I think is important between like the administration, ZOM, and the rest of the university, because that is the only way we're going to bring each other together. That's the way we're going to heal this sort of division. And yeah, I think that is just the best way for us to do that. So any questions, I'm willing to answer.
Thanks so much, Henry. Really appreciate that. Great synopsis. Would anyone like to direct a question towards Henry or for any of his co-sponsors? Yeah, we have a proxy for Danny Skirmerhorn.
Yeah, that wording was pretty much going out. This does seem like a very punitive measure by the university against the ZOM community. And so not giving any opportunity for like questioning of like, okay, like how, like what are these problems in your community? How should we best address these? Due process might not be the best wording, but it did feel like sort of a trial where action was taken with no questioning of like why or what could be better to resolve like the issues that came with that action. So it seemed like the university just reaching from afar, acting, not really getting to know any of the, any of the reasons behind some of the concerns they had, or not putting an effort towards healing those concerns in like a more, I guess, pastoral way.
Awesome, great dialogue. Yeah, Miles.
Yeah, it's a great question. It is currently, you are allowed to bring 3 other students with you to another community. So the way they've set it up is each individual is allowed to bring 3 students with them, and you have your top choice and your second choice. And you're not guaranteed to get into your top choice. I believe you are guaranteed to get into one of the 2 choices. But yeah, it's 3 people taken with you maximum. So a group of 4, which I personally think is small. That's what I've heard from pretty much everyone who I've talked to. I've heard, it's pretty much breaking up friend groups of bigger than 4 people. You're not guaranteed to move a group of 5 people to the same community. So yeah, that's the current number.
Nice clarifying question, Miles. Eliza.
Yeah, it's a great question. Also, the invitation to dialogue pretty much came from, is stemming from an open letter that ZOM House government members just wrote to the university through the Observer. I think just the invitation to dialogue is just any communication with us whatsoever regarding moving forward, how the university is going to ease the transition, how the university sees us in the coming months, because we haven't, other than the first meeting, we haven't heard anything about what our transition is going to look like. Really, we got one email and one presentation. So I think as far as invitation to dialogue, just what we can do to make things better for the university and us and the campus community over the next few months.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eliza. Connor, I will ask you to come on down for your question. Erin has been typing things to Catherine because she's missing bits. So if you could come down, I know it's frustrating, but that'd be awesome. Oh, good, good.
Do you have any insight as to how many ZOM residents have decided to remain on campus as opposed to move off campus for next year?
Yeah, I don't have an exact number. I believe it's, I mean, it is a majority of the freshman class, and I'm not sure exactly how many of the sophomores have done it or have elected to move off because the form hasn't been the form isn't due for submission for another few days. I would estimate around 50, maybe more though. I'm not positive though.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Connor. Any further questions for Henry? Eliza? Okay, let's vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? Okay, we're now entering into debate. If anyone would like to raise a point at this point, feel free to do so. Ricardo?
So I've been living in Zion for the last 4 years, and I've never seen anything quite like this. I think this is a critical resolution at this time. I cannot emphasize how important this is for the Zion community, especially when it relates to points 2B and 2C. The images I saw in Zion House last Monday when the decision came out were, again, like nothing I have seen before in Zion. People were breaking down in the hallways. Congregation of people were just in tears by the statue of Father Zam. I think mental health resources and financial resources for the community in Zam are of paramount importance right now. And I cannot emphasize and stress highly enough the importance of this resolution in the community of Zam, which is my own community. So please consider strongly voting in favor of this resolution, especially because it is coming at it with a workshopping and collaborative approach with the university with the intention to engage in productive and substantial dialogue, which is only a positive in this situation. It will only help to further reduce tensions and ensure that those who need help have access to that help.
Thanks so much for your perspective, Ricardo, as a member of the ZOM community. All right, any other points of debate? And again, I will ask that you come on down. Great job projecting, Ricardo, but I don't want Erin to keep furiously typing. So if you have anything to say, please come on down. Yes, Ben.
This mic needs to work. Thank you. So I'm one of the co-sponsors on this resolution, and I have to commend Henry for all he's done to set this up and kind of help walk us through what it's been like for the men of Zom House this past week and a half or so. One thing I want to call our attention to that we mentioned the whereas statements near the second page or so. I can't remember which. There's a whereas statement with 3 bullets listed, and the secondary issue that we're trying to address here is not only how the decision to disband Zom House was carried out and announced to the Zom community and the effect that that's had on them, but also the underlying, trying to understand what's the underlying motivation, what is the goal, and trying to call out the fact that if the goal is to prevent what the university calls troubling culture from occurring on campus, to prevent instances of, as they mentioned explicitly, vandalism, COVID violations, and as they did not mention, but as though we can maybe imply, instances of sexual harassment, sexual assault. I think what we as co-sponsors came to realize is that this decision to disband Zom House, the way it's been carried out so far and the way it seems to be proceeding forward, that's not going to prevent those things from happening. I think if we were to be honest with ourselves, those sorts of things are happening in most residence hall communities across this campus, certainly most men's residence halls. And that's an unfortunate disparity. That's an unfortunate reality. It's not fun to say, it's not fun to admit. I don't enjoy admitting that, but I think, if the university's idea was to make Notre Dame a better place for future generations of Notre Dame students to continue doing so, our concern is that this doesn't necessarily prevent some of the underlying issues that have not only plagued ZOM, but have also plagued many other residence hall communities and communities associated with Notre Dame off campus as well. So that's just kind of the other secondary underlying issue that we're trying to highlight here, is that if the university is looking to make Notre Dame a better place, we're skeptical that the decision actually does that. It just simply causes stress for the men of ZOM House. It causes stress for students, and it reflects poorly and kind of widens that gap that we have so frequently discussed. So I just wanted to bring that up as a co-sponsor. I obviously fully support this resolution. I also really appreciate Ricardo's point, the men of ZOM House. Whatever your perception is of ZOM as a whole community, there are individuals in that hall who are really hurting right now, who had no say in this decision, and who are going to be hurting for the rest of this semester and admittedly the rest of their Notre Dame experience because of this. So we owe it to at least the individuals who've done everything they can to make ZOM a good, positive community for everybody around them, and for the rest of campus, that benefit of the doubt that we support them. So those are my thoughts on this.
Thanks for your perspective as a co-sponsor, Ben. I think I saw Lainey's hand as well. Anything you wanted to add? Oh, okay, go for it. Great, okay, wonderful. Let's vote on that. All in favor? Okay, and all opposed. Wonderful. So we have now entered into our formal vote on SS 2021-36, a resolution responding to the disbandment of ZOM House. And I'll once again ask you all in favor? All opposed? Okay, fabulous. Thanks so much for your spearheading of this resolution, Henry, on behalf of the men of your community. And thanks so much to all your co-sponsors as well for engaging in this effort, which I hope will lead to a productive dialogue between you guys and the admin. Wonderful. All right, so it seems like our last two orders of business will be all J Council all the time. We'll move on to SO 2021-25, which is in order to reappoint senators to serve the remainder of the 2020-2021 academic term.
All right. Can you hear me? No?
Ish.
I was so excited.
I know.
I thought I had myself together finally. Okay, so I got this on my hip. I got this in my hand. 25 first?
25.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll save the other one until the end.
Awesome, thank you. So this has to do with basically having to do with ZOM, Pangborn, and Soren. I'll just read it. So whereas the Constitution prescribes that in the event any elected position becomes vacant with less than 8 academic weeks remaining in the term, the Senate shall appoint an eligible undergraduate student to serve as the acting official for the remaining of term. Whereas the Division of Student Affairs has announced that the roster for undergraduate students residing in Pangborn for 2021-22 academic year will not be determined until after this election cycle concludes. Whereas the Judicial Council cannot conduct a free and fair election in Pangborn Hall until the constituency of undergraduate students residing in the hall has been determined. Whereas the Judicial Council will conduct a free and fair election in Pangborn at the start of next academic term when undergraduate students return to campus from summer break and the constituency of Pangborn Hall is confirmed. Whereas the Division of Student Affairs has canceled the current constituency of ZOM House. Whereas no elections will take place for the constituency of ZOM House for the foreseeable future. Whereas the Division of Student Affairs has announced that the building ZOM Hall will be used exclusively as a temporary relocation space for the Soren community during the next academic term. Whereas elections for the Soren community in ZOM Hall for the next academic term will proceed as originally planned by Soren Hall. Whereas fewer than 8 weeks remain before the end of this academic term. Whereas for each of the halls in question, their current leadership is functioning in their respective capacities. And then we see both the current Pangborn Hall leadership and the current ZOM House Hall leadership just being reappointed to finish out this term and to finish out the rest of the academic year. Any questions?
Michael. Okay, let's vote. All in favor? All opposed? Would anyone like to raise a point of debate? Michael? Okay, and once more, we'll vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? All right, folks, we're entering our official vote on SO 2021-25. All in favor? And all opposed? Fabulous. Okay. Really excited that those and Pangborn folks will continue to serve. And we can take it back to SO 2021-24. And Thomas, if you'd just like to summarize those friendly amendments.
Yeah, so two updates. The McGlynn senatorial race has been removed from this because the person is the hall election coordinator, so we'll address that later. Also, the duplicate actually is residing in a Welsh family, so I believe it said Ryan before we removed that. That was just an error. Other than that, all the other friendly amendments should be good to go. I once again will ask just to triple check that as far as you know, your hall does look correct if it's listed on there. But if not, should be good to go.
Great, thanks, Thomas. At this point, we can invite any questions. Michael? Okay, let's vote on that. All in favor? And all opposed? Wonderful. We've now entered into debate. Would anyone like to debate this order? Michael? Okay, all in favor? And all opposed? Wonderful. And finally, we will enter into our vote on SO 2021-24. All in favor? And all opposed? Okay, approved for the last time of the evening. Thanks so much for your hard work on that, Thomas and David. Yeah, and congratulations to many of you who are on there. I think that is Michael, Maggie, Grace, Lainey. Am I missing anyone? No, well, I feel like when you run unopposed, you don't get the excitement of getting elected. So I want to give you guys the excitement of getting elected. Clap for your friends. Okay, so we just elected all the people on that sheet of paper. Very exciting for all of them. I'd love to give you guys a brief preview of next week's meeting on new business. Rachel will be delivering her final State of the Student Union address, so get excited for that. What I'm really excited for is we've got SO 2021-26 coming up, which is an order proposing an amendment to the Constitution of the undergraduate student body to establish Diversity Council as a special interest organization. This has been a project and a collaboration between Diversity Council and student government since the early fall. They have written a great set of bylaws that have been approved just today. And really excited to hopefully incorporate them into the student union as a special interest org. So really looking forward to that conversation next week in conjunction with folks from DC and their new policy arm called MSIC. And then we will have 2021 Student Union Awards. That is the Frank O'Malley Undergrad Teaching Award, the Michael J. Palumbo Award, and the Irish Clover Award. And I just received a text from Mairead this morning that I believe will be confirming the new sub-executive director next week. So also something great to look forward to. I think that's all I have for you guys for next week. Any announcements we'd like to share with the crowd? Thomas.
Debate, we had them pick one, or at least look at one and try and talk about it. It's not ran out of time, but try to get them involved as early as you can. And maybe even get them on the resolution right ahead of time. That is super helpful. When we come back here in the fall, we're still going to be dealing with the same issues, maybe not so much criminal, but hopefully. So the same issues that were 2 years ago, this year, last year, are going to be going on next year. So please, every effort that you put in, try to distill that.
All right. Further announcements? Seeing none, Sam Canova. I believe I know what Michael Murakami's is, Sam, so if you want to state your piece, go ahead and state it. Absolutely.
The first one is that next week's theme is crisscross. As Karen might know. Right? You were on crisscross in Buffalo, right? Yeah. So crisscross is this Atlanta-based rap duo. They were like 13 years old. They were known by literally all of the U.S. They wear all of their clothes backwards. You put your clothes on, they put them on backwards. Shoes were accepted. But next week's theme is crisscross. The second announcement, which I have to make, and Mike Moore on microphone 4 is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be brief. The issue here is not whether we broke a few rules, but you can't hold a whole fraternity responsible for the actions of a few sick individuals. For if you do, then shouldn't you blame the whole fraternity system? And if the whole fraternity system is guilty, then isn't this an indictment of our educational institutions in general? I put it to you, Karen. Isn't this an indictment of our entire American society? Well, you can do whatever you want to us, but I will not sit here while you badmouth the name of the United States of America. Gentlemen.
Okay, and with that, one more thing, Michael Murakami, while Sam has the theme planned for next week for our final Senate meeting, I am excited to share it will be a formal event. Come in your best formal attire. I will also have a culinary surprise for you all before. So get excited for the last Senate meeting to celebrate everything that you guys have accomplished because we appreciate you. Michael Murakami.